Today we'll be showing you how to install our Boost Auto Parts GM style Dodge Ram tow mirrors onto your second gen Dodge Ram truck. This specific procedure is for 1994 to 2001 Dodge Ram 1500 trucks and 1994 to 2002 Dodge Ram 25 and 3500 trucks. If you purchased our Ram style mirrors instead of our GM style mirrors for these second gen trucks, please reference a separate Boost Auto Parts video. The first thing you want to do is remove the door panel. To start, we're going to remove this Phillips head screw holding in the top corner trim piece. Then, working in the door grab, unscrew the two Phillips head screws. Next, unbolt the door lever. It's held in with one Phillips head screw. You may have to angle the door lever and slightly pull it up in order to access this screw. Next, working your way around the door panel with a trim tool, pry the door panel out and unlatch it. Then you can simply lift up and pull the door panel off the door, making sure to clear the door lock lever. Then disconnect this white connector for your power adjust switch. Next, unplug the window switch connector. The tab to release the connector is on top, so you'll want to press this down and just pull back. Now you can fully remove the door panel from the door. Next, unplug your factory mirror connector. Then remove the three nuts holding the mirror on the truck and remove the mirror from the vehicle. When removing the mirror, you'll have a rubber grommet on the harness that's holding this to the truck. You may have to just slightly push to dislodge this. Now on your new mirrors provided by Boost Auto Parts, you'll have this metal plate bolted on with the nuts included in your kit. Just unbolt these nuts and remove it. Before installing the mirrors, be sure to route the harness as shown here to make sure it properly wires into the truck. Now leaving the metal bracket off the mirror, mount the mirror to the vehicle. Slide both harnesses through the opening, being careful not to pinch any wires. While supporting the mirror from the other side, feed the harness through the bracket and slide the bracket up onto the mirror studs so that you can mount the mirror to the vehicle. Next, while supporting the mirror, fully install your mirror onto the vehicle using the included nuts in the Boost Auto Parts kit. Then plug your new Boost Auto Parts mirrors into the connector for the mirrors on your door. Now depending on the year of your truck, you may have this adapter harness included in the Boost Auto Parts kit. You can plug it in if it's not already plugged in. It only is needed for some model year vehicles. Your installation procedure will still be the same. For some older year vehicles, you will also have a black wire coming out of your adapter. You just need to ground this to a good body ground. We recommend grounding this inside the cab, as sometimes the door is not a sufficient ground. This only applies to older year vehicles with this 3-pin connector. Included with your mirror should have been a secondary wiring harness. You'll have a varying amount of wires here, depending on the options on your mirrors. In this case, the mirrors are equipped with running light and signal or switchback function along with reverse lights. So there's a blue wire, a red and yellow wire, and a white wire here. Just plug the extension harness into the connector on your mirror.
And just work the door boot out. It's just a grommet style, so you can just do it by hand. Route the wires down where the existing wires are and grab them down at the door jamb area. Carefully pull through the slack, being careful not to chafe any of the wires. To release the cab side of the door harness, you need to use a 90-degree pick. There's a latch in all four corners, so you'll just kind of work in all four corners releasing that latch, and then the entire body of the connector will come out. Now unplug the two connectors. There's just a tab, and then you can slide the connector straight out. Release these connectors from the body. There's just a little latch right here. You'll just pull that up a little bit, and then the connector will slide out. And do that with both of them. Now take a firm piece of metal, in this case we're using a straightened out coat hanger, and go ahead and run through the plastic as well as the rubber boot straight over here, so that it comes out on the other side so that the wires can be fished through. Tape the wires to the coat hanger very firmly with some electrical tape. Then pull your wire straight on through so that the wires come with it, and pull all your slack, being careful not to chafe the wires. Remove this trim bezel. There's just a couple clips holding it on, and it latches at the front down there, so just slide it out. Take your straightened out metal piece and route it into the cab. We've left the wires tied to the end of it with the electrical tape, so just pull it straight in.
Now the installation for the passenger side is the exact same as for the driver's side. You can use the same method to get your wires into the cab on the passenger side and then route them over to the driver's side. The wires you have may vary depending on the options you have on your mirrors. If you don't have a wire on your mirror reference here, just ignore that step. The blue wire is going to be for the running light. You can splice those together under the dash and just run one wire up for the power feed, or you can run both wires individually if you'd like. The white wire will be for the reverse lights. You can splice that under the dash and run one wire for ease of installation. The red and yellow wires will be for your turn signals. These cannot be spliced under the dash as they are side dependent and tap differently. Just secure your wires up and out of the way. Now you can run your wires up to the engine bay. Now we need to run the wires up to the underhood area. As you can see, if we come straight up under the dash here, there's going to be this grommet in the firewall that we're going to run the wires through. Then tape your wires to a sturdy metal rod or coat hanger and push the rod and the wires through the grommet. Once this is through, pull the wires straight through onto the underhood area. Once your wires are pulled through the firewall, take the white wire from your extension harness and just drop that through the engine bay, making sure it's out of the way. We'll use this to wire in the reverse lights, but for now, proceed up to the headlight. Your blue running light wire will be tapped at the driver's side headlight, and your red and yellow turn signal wires will be tapped at each independent headlight. You can identify the passenger side wire because it is going to be the shorter of the two red and yellow wires.
Remove the headlight. The procedure is the same on the driver and the passenger side. There's 3 screws or bolts holding it on. You can see if you look over in here, you have one straight up over here, one down over here where we have the wrench on, and then straight over here, there's one right down over there. So we'll go ahead and remove those, and then the headlight just has one clip holding it on that can be released. Now some vehicles also have an additional threaded rod which comes straight through to here, so you may need to come through the top and just remove the nut that's on the back of what you're seeing is removed here. Remove the headlight. Now the wires we're going to be working with are these 3 wires right over here, which are going to your park and turn signal. So the wire colors are the same on the driver and the passenger side. The running light wire is going to be the black wire with yellow tracer. The turn signal wire is going to be the solid tan wire on each side.
So you're going to tap the blue wire from your kit to the black wire with yellow tracer on the driver's side for your running light application, and tap the red and yellow wires on each side to the solid tan wire for turn signal.
So the first thing we're going to tap onto is going to be pin 2 of the park light. This is going to be the black wire with yellow tracer. So we're going to go ahead and take our T-tap provided by Boost Auto Parts, place the wire into the jaws of the T-tap and fold it over. This is for the running light. You'll squeeze it until you feel it click, and if necessary you can use some pliers. So again, running light on a pin 2, the black wire with yellow tracer.
Now here for demonstration purposes, we're using an orange wire for running light, but in your kit this wire color will be blue, so you want to bring the blue wire up and proceed from there.
We're going to go ahead and strip the end off, and then we're going to go ahead and take that orange wire and place it into the fusible disconnect provided by Boost Auto Parts. Then we'll go ahead and crimp it down. Now these are heat shrink butt connectors, so you can apply some heat and shrink that down. Once you've done that, then you're just going to go ahead and take the disconnect and slide it into the T-tap on the black wire with yellow tracer. You want to make sure the metal from the disconnect slides directly into the T-tap and that the disconnect slides all the way forward.
Now for turn signal, for demonstration purposes, we're using a blue wire, but in your kit it'll be a red and yellow wire. Be sure to use the red and yellow wire from your Boost Auto Parts kit for this section of the video. Now take the red and yellow wire from your Boost Auto Parts kit you previously ran and tap it onto pin 3. This will be pin 3 for both the driver's side and the passenger side. Pin 3 should be a solid tan wire on both sides, so just go ahead and strip the red and yellow wire.
Place it into the butt connector on the fusible tab provided by Boost Auto Parts, and then you'll go ahead and crimp that down. You can go ahead and heat shrink them down, and then again this is going to be tapping onto pin 3, which is the solid tan wire. So you can see we've located the solid tan wire going to pin 3 here. You can use some pliers to help you squeeze it. So that is the turn signal on pin 3, and then you can just go ahead and plug your disconnect directly into the T-tap, making sure the metal from the disconnect slides all the way forward and that the metal slides directly down the middle of the T-tap.
Now take the white wire from your extension harness that you dropped through the engine bay earlier, safely tie that up out of the way through the engine bay, and then tie that up underneath the vehicle, running it to the rear driver's side taillight, as shown here. You can either run both white wires and splice them at the rear taillight, or you can splice them under the dash and run one white wire to the rear. Now once you're at the driver's side taillight, you'll remove these two bolts holding the taillight into place. Then go ahead and remove the taillight just by simply pulling straight back. Now once you have the rear taillight removed, locate the violet and black wire in the reverse light bulb connector. Then using a red T-tap from your kit, tap onto this wire. Then take the white wire you ran to the taillight and cut it to the proper length without having too much slack left over. Then insert the stripped end of the white wire into the fuse splice included in your kit and crimp this down. You want to heat shrink this down before going any further. Then take the disconnect from your fuse splice and plug that into the T-tap on the violet and black wire. Then reinstall the taillight by pressing it back into place, making sure the alignment tabs are lined up. Then reinstall the two screws holding in the rear taillight.
And just go ahead and place your headlights back into position, and then you're going to replace the 3 bolts for each of them. If you add a nut on the back of the threaded rod, be sure to reinstall it. Now slip these connectors back into their location. You want to make sure that any wires you added are over in the corners, being sure not to pinch any of them. Plug the connectors back in. And clip the door jamb connector back into place. Reinstall the trim piece. Place the door jamb boot back into position, working around it with your hands.
Then finally bring the door panel back up into position, making sure it clears the door lock lever, and then firmly press in around the door, making sure the tabs are lined up to snap it back into place. Next, reinstall the 2 Phillips head screws inside the door grab. Then reinstall the Phillips head screw holding the door handle into place. Finally, reinstall the Phillips head screw holding the triangle trim piece in. And just like that, your installation is complete. To get all the parts shown in this video and more, check out our website at boostautoparts.com. Boost Auto Parts offers a wide range of tow mirrors, parts, and accessories for trucks and SUVs. Check us out at boostautoparts.com.